get myself established and.
Wow. Wow.
So let me ask you this one. You said your parents didn't want you to go into that part. They wanted you to work in the corporate world. And when you got married, that was when you were able to do that. Are you now saying it is your husband that made you to assess that potential of yours? So left to your family, they wouldn't have given you a go ahead.
My mom would have allowed me to do it because she believes that every child carries their destiny, if I should say that. Okay. And then my husband is just amazing. So when I told him that I want to go into fashion designing, so he allowed me. I said I want to learn. So then I had a baby then. Aww. I had a baby, but he allowed me to go for the training. So at some point I stopped. So but later went to do some other businesses that also
revolves
around fashion designing. And then later I just let me go for a proper learning, and I went to a fashion school. So he allowed me. So not that my parents wouldn't have allowed me, but all parents just want their children to work in banks, work in big establishments. They don't really then they didn't really believe that you can really do well with learning a skill.
Yeah, with a skill. So professionally, how long have you been doing this right now?
It's been over 5 years.
Wow.
It's been over 5 years.
Okay, that's a good one. Looking at fashion designing in a country like ours, how challenging has it been, and how rewarding has it been?
Well, running a business in this country is challenging in itself. It's very, very irrespective of what you are.
What line you are in.
Is very, very challenging. But fashion designing is something that is very, very rewarding if you are good at what you do. We have people that already know. Fashion is not something that can just go away like that in the next 1 year or so.
Absolutely.
So it's something that will keep evolving over the years, and people will just keep doing fashion. So it's something that is very, very rewarding, that maybe at some point you get to the stage that you now have good clients that understand what to do and appreciate your work. It's very, very
No, sorry.
Okay.
How rewarding is it? Is it rewarding?
It is very rewarding. We have big fashion designers now that that owns properties. They are in fact, they even you see them at top places now. I can't really.
That's a good one.
It's a very, very rewarding one that you can actually achieve your dreams. As a fashion designer, and we want to travel around the world. You want to own big properties. You can actually achieve that.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So we have job hazards.
Okay.
I'm a friend to a baker, and recently she was just doing something. She was baking, and there was just this fire issue that came, and she said that was the hazard of the job. So now let me take it. What are the hazards that comes with it? Because we have young ones that want to come and learn. They want to know the things that will happen to them while they are doing it. So what are those things that experience? Then there was this friend of mine. She's a fashion designer too. She's always complaining about her back. Is that true? Is that a job that affects your back? So that you should know if you, because it's always easy to start a journey. You don't know if you're going to get to the end of it. So, but if they already know, if you can walk on your back, if you can do this, so please just tell me those hazards so that the viewers can know, I am fit for this.
Even though you are fit, even before you come into fashion designing, one thing that is very, very, the greatest hazard is the back pain. It is the back pain. I was working one day, and one woman came to, she's a fashion designer, but she doesn't work anymore. So she was just advising me that, once you are on your machine and you're working, just try and get up and walk around a bit because of your back, because she cannot really do much with her back now because of the, that's one hazard. And then sometimes we have during ironing, you can have iron burns, like my hand now. Looking at my fingers, when I'm using the scissors, sometimes you can see this came from the scissors.
Wow.
So that's one of the it's a lot to do, but it's something that you can just go. You can thrive in it, and you can just go through it. It's not something that will kill you.
Definitely.
So every job has its own hazard. So it's something I can manage. So it's not something out of the ordinary.
All right.
So what about turnout? I'm sorry, turnout. Are people now embracing fashion designing.
Yes.
Like
Yes, they are.
that.
Yes, they are really embracing it because people. In fact, people really want to go into fashion designing. Some people will tell you that they don't want to work with this. Just for learning sake. At least they can just in one corner of their room and sew and this just to have the skill. But of course, people do it a lot now. Just to go into it a lot now so that they can just make a living out of it because they've been seeing as in testimonies of people that are in fashion as in the line and they are really doing well for themselves. So it's something that people really want to go into now. Unlike those days I say, tailor, they go
That's the worst, the tailor.
Tailor, like you're choosing the wrong career path. No, but now it's something that is really, really
You look like you're the wife of a politician. I mean, so that's to show you how gainful I think it is.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean.
All right, no, but because of time now, if you come back to this world, will you want to come back as a fashion designer?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I really want to be a fashion designer over and over again.
I like it. I like the fact that you get to produce new things and you just look like, oh, this is my creation. It's a beautiful feeling. I try to do it, at some point.
And that's
I just couldn't.
Sorry, that's one rewarding part of it also, getting to see what you do. There was a time that I recently made, like January, I made a wedding dress. So I just, after making the dress, I just kept it in one corner. I was looking at it that, is this fine? Is this to me it may be very, very beautiful, but to another person, So yesterday I just let me just upload this on my WhatsApp so I come and see people saying, wow, this is lovely. So looking at it, I'm seeing people appreciate what you do. It's something that is just fulfilling.
Ms. Fare came in loud and saying, we want to thank you most sincerely, even though I know it's a very short time, but that aspect of letting us know that, look, whatever you do, just keep on keeping on. The sky is the beginning. Exactly. You will definitely get the very best. Thank you for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you for coming around.
It's still Spring Delight, and when we come back, what will we be talking about?
We're going to be talking about the Japa syndrome. I mean, everybody is getting out of the country. What are the causes of it? Why is this happening? Is it greener at the other side? So please stay tuned to us. You're still on to Spring Delight. We're going to be right back.
Japa, a Yoruba word for to run, flee, or escape, has become a buzzword for the aspiration that young Nigerians have to leave the country and migrate elsewhere to seek greener pastures, even made popular by an Afrobeat song with the same title. Many youth believe that it is a response to the leadership failure across decades and government, both the civilian and military. Nigeria has a population of over 200 million people, most of whom are youth. According to the Census Bureau of the United States, Nigeria's population will surpass that of the United States in 2047. It is pleasing that Nigeria as a nation is regarded as a giant of Africa and as the most populous country in Africa. But the question is, why is Nigeria faced with mass immigration? Femi Oludare is a Nigerian who disclosed that in few days he is going to be out of the country seeking a greener pasture, although he plans to come back and invest in the agricultural sector in the nearest future.
There are a lot of reasons why people are traveling. People travel on purpose for education. People travel out of frustration, and because looking at the system we have here, the system we have is not really encouraging the youth. So people find reasons to leave the country. But for some of us, we are going on purpose to be a better person so that we can come back and come and invest on this ground, because there are still several opportunities. There are still several resources here.
For Olamide Akinlabi, she and many others were disappointed at the outcome of the last presidential election, and it got her so depressed that all that is running through her mind right now is for her to go to another country and start a new life.
I believe we practice democracy, the act of vote and be voted for. So I believed a lot of youth actually came out on that election day to go and vote for the right candidates they believed should be in the position. But at the long run, the vote didn't count to me. Yes, it didn't count. And that has bring a lot of depression to the youth generally. So, when your votes don't count in your country, then what other things could count?
Although Kudus Balogun in his submission thinks Nigeria has a system good enough, but with not too many opportunities, which he feels is not okay for the national development. He hopes to seek for greener pastures and come back to invest in his country, Nigeria.
It's only good when you have the intention of going there to gain skills and exposure to be able to come back and impact in our national development. But other than that, most people now go with the intention of going there to stay, live, and forget about Nigeria totally, and I feel that's bad. So my own idea behind it is, it's not like the Nigerian system is not good enough or is not up to standard, but the opportunities available cannot go round, and I feel that's like an impediment to our national development. So if an avenue is there for me to go, learn, develop, then come back, I'll be willing to.
A Nigerian, Tumishe Ayodele, who is based in the United Kingdom, suggested that Nigerians in diaspora or aspiring diasporans should look for a way to invest in their own country. That way, the issue of brain drain would be resolved.
Everybody is moving, they are leaving, the environment, they are going out of the country. Now, what we're trying to do in essence is, when you look at even the GDP of Nigeria, what we repatriate in terms of money from abroad, to Nigeria is way more than any other aspect of the sector. So we've started working together as community over there now on see how we can look at 2 to 3% more from our income. Now, when we repatriate them, those money that are repatriated are for economics, like for people to say, I want to buy shoes, I want to pay my house rent. So we're looking at proper investment now, So that's the only way I think in the short term, the Nigerian youth can actually turn things around. But in terms of people living, and the caliber of persons there, I would say yes, it looks like a real brain drain, but we can only just do better to see how we could turn that drain into gain. But of course, the situation is not helping for now.
Today, millions of ethnic Nigerians live abroad. The largest communities can be found in the United Kingdom. Olayinka Ali, Western Spring Television News.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Wow, that's the syndrome. Thank you, Olayinka Ali, for the report on this Japa syndrome. And honestly, if you visit the Murtala Mohammed International Airport today, you go choke.
He choke.
Wow. All right, and obviously it's something that is worrying. What could mitigate this? What could be done to mitigate the exodus of Nigerians leaving the shores of our dear nation this moment in time? We will be looking into that as much as we would want a reformation, a restructuring in one way or the other. Definitely. It's a pleasure to have our next guest with us in the house this morning.
Pastor Imo Peters.
Good to have Pastor Imo Peters.
Great.
Peters, yes. Yeah, thank you for joining us, and you're most welcome to the program this morning. Let's look at this syndrome.
Okay.
It came out just like that.
Yeah.
We know we've always had that aspect years ago when Andrew said, I'm checking out with all his bags and in the 80s. But these days.
It's so serious.
It's either you want to go via the Mediterranean Sea or the Sahara Desert, whereby so many people lose their lives on daily basis on this. What is wrong? Where have we gotten it wrong that will make people say, I'm leaving the shores? Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for this invitation. I don't take it lightly. It's very serious because for somebody like me, I'm a pastor. I have people that lead. So we are most affected when we, I have like last year, between September to December, I have over 15 families.
15 families?
That relocated from the church. So that affected a lot of things dropped. The numbers and commitment to people. So I exactly understand what you're trying to say, but at the same time, I want to balance this as much as possible. When we talk about the Japa syndrome, sometimes we frown at it when people leave, most especially as it has to do with it affects the youth. We have to look at the society we are in, what we are in. There are a lot of things that affect a lot of young people, and one of the major things I will tell you is that there's no ray of hope. When you look at the country, and it doesn't seem like anything good is happening, is going to happen. So as a result of that, you have to secure your future. You know, this Japa syndrome started even in the 70s. In the early 70s, our parents, Japa, they went, and some of them are returning back now.
Yeah.
And their children are going. And same thing happened in the 80s, and then we have, but this one is so serious that the greatest miracle that happened to you is not because you bought a car. It's not because you have a land, it's because you Japa. So people tend to celebrate that more than any other thing that will happen to you. So I think it has to do with the system. The system, our system needs to work. Because if you ask a lot of them, if you engage a lot of people, it's not about the money. For some people, it's not about the money. For some people, it's not about, it's just the system, justice, peace. I grew up in the North all my life. I spent all my life in the North, so I can tell you exactly what it means. That especially when you come to a place like in the North, we don't sleep with our eyes closed. So when people have such kind of opportunity, they go because they know that they can have peace there. They know that there's justice for them. They know that there is peace for them, and the system there is working.
Can it ever be, the wrongs can ever be written right to get this system back on track?
It can.
What needs to be done?
Now, let me tell you something. In the 80s, if you remember, Ghanaians were all over Nigerians. Some of them were sleeping under the bridge.
Absolutely.
If you remember. And when a leadership came into power and said, okay, this is not right, we have to do something. And then they formed Ghana Must Go, that Nigeria asked Ghanaians to leave. And most of them, you know, this puff they are selling today, they were selling puff everywhere. And they came with the bag, Ghana Must Go, and they went back. And you can tell, some few years ago, they celebrated 10 years of uninterrupted power supply. So it can be. It's very, very, very possible. I know the recent one that just happened is the election that made a lot of people got their passport ready. If this thing didn't go the way we plan, and you can imagine just after the election, the number of people that got to the airport.
Even in my introduction, if you get to the airport this morning, you will be amazed because I've had the experience some years ago. I think I missed my flight, so I had to just sit at the airport. I was supposed to travel from Abuja to Makurdi, and I missed that flight, so I was to wait for the next flight. So I had to just sit on the bench, on one of the benches in the airport. We're just waiting, and that's at about 2:30 a.m. I was seeing the next flight to London. I was just like looking at people trooping out. Like, man.
But I'm going to ask though, excuse me, is the grass really greener on the other side? Because I've seen people who have gone and they still complain of how they enjoy the freedom we got here, how we can go out at any time. So it's really greener on the other side?
Well, that word is relative.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, it's relative. That's why I started by saying that some people it's not because of the money. They are bank managers, regional managers in the bank. They don't have problem with money. I know somebody that left I know somebody that left and was making as much as up to £1 million in a month. Yes. And he left. And he will tell you because I want peace. That's the reason why he left. So when you're talking about being green, it's relative. But the truth is that it's not automatic. When you get there, you have to, because you can't just get there and get to the top. Sure. You have to start. So you see people leaving good jobs that go and do menial jobs there. And that's why I said it has to be balanced. For me, I can't do that. For me, I can't do that. And I won't advise people to do that. If you have a good job you're doing, why do you have to go there? And for some people, it's because of the educational system they have there. So they will prefer their children to go there and school and have a good educational system. That's just for some people.
Wow. Would you leave your job to Japa? Would you leave your job to Japa? Answer now. Let me go.
Talk about it, you and I. Are you nervous? But, Pastor Peter, let's look at the Nigerian society itself. For people who we stated here, because if you have to leave a good job here and to do menial jobs, because consideration will always be given to citizens of each country before you that have just Japa come. what should the federal government of Nigeria do? And we as Nigerians at this moment in time that can erase that thought out of our hearts and let's say what it will look like in our dear nation in the next 10, 15, 20, 50 years from now if Jesus has not returned.
Well, 2021.
Yes.
The former governor of Osun State, Aregbesola, was very concerned about this. And what was his concern? A lot of Nigerians are denying their citizens and they change to other countries. The moment somebody jackpot and get to the UK or anywhere, the first thing they start looking for is how to become a citizen of that place. And the federal government raised the committee to look into it, but nothing was done. Nothing was done.
Looking at the exodus of doctors.
Yes.
Nigerian doctors are the third highest set of people in the UK today.
Yes.
Nigerians.
Yeah.
I feel so sad about this because if probably we have all these great hands here, wouldn't it be a better society in the health sector amidst some other sectors that we have even around the world when they are Nigerians?
You see, the problem is, like I said before, if the challenge we're having is that they talk about this thing, but nothing is being done. For example, if you ask some of our politicians, our leaders, their children at school, you can imagine during the ASU strike, if you remember very well, the son of the JAM, he posted it online. He was graduate, and the university.
Yes, and they were on strike here.
So how do you now advise me to keep my child here, or you want me to stay here when you are not doing it? Because it has to be, you have to lead by example. You have to lead by example. If you say, okay, let's come together and see how we can build Nigeria, then you have to start.
Is this ever going to be better? I don't want us to look at it from the aspect of spirituality.
Yes.
Let's look from the real sense of
realistically.
Realistically, thank you. Will this ever stop?
Well, if it continues like this, it's not going to stop. It's going to get worse. It's really going to get worse. Because, I have had an opportunity to travel out before. And do you know Nigerians are intelligent? Nigerians, you don't have to go to school to be intelligent. As a Nigerian, you are born intelligent. If you sit down and we are discussing, you have to give ideas, and you say something, they will ask you, you're Nigerian. They say, yes. It's only Nigerians that can talk like this. So you see, you can see the way Nigerians they just want to get out of the system. It can't get better. But you see the truth again, let me balance it this way. We as citizens, we have to get to a point where we have to consider generations. We have to consider posterity. We have to consider it, because no matter who you are, no matter how you change your citizen, you still have a Nigerian blood flowing in you.
Sure.
So we need to get to a point where everybody have to go through this sacrifice, and if it has to take us to face our leaders and face them face to face and tell them that this is our country and we are standing by it, and we have to get this thing done. But we have to get to that point before things can get better. Before we can get ourselves out of this. American was worse than this, if you remember.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
But, people have to stand and say, no, if we need to die, let's die.
People made sacrifices.
People made sacrifice. In the word of Mahatma Gandhi said, these are the things that will destroy us when we acquire education without knowledge. We do business without ethics. And when we build nation without sacrifice. It takes a lot of sacrifice. And for me, the sacrifice has to come from every one of us. An American can die for America. She knows my children. As small as my kids are, they will ask me, Daddy, 5 years, 7 years, when are we going to UK? So it has been implanted into them.
Absolutely. It's painful because I know the way at which things are in the country today. It can only get better, and as much as we keep saying, we will keep praying, which is the normal norm in Nigeria today. That it's only prayer that can do it. But still, the youths, the younger generation, don't let me just say youths, the younger generation, we tend to find them doing the awkward jobs.
Okay.
Cybercrime, drugs, and what have you. But still, when they do it, they want to do it and go and show off.
Yeah.
We have an experience of one of these cybercrime guys that's been arrested in the US now, who was flaunting or what have you. The mentality, how can this be reorientated? How can it be changed so that we probably will get a better human set of people in this great nation? I keep using that word, great nation, because I know Nigeria is one great nation.
Well, I'm a pastor, and one of the things I try to do as a life coach, I give people hope.
Good.
In the midst of hopelessness. So we preach it, we tell people Nigeria is going to get better. But I want to tell you that the problem we have is foundational. It's a foundational problem. How do you celebrate somebody that has stolen billions and millions of dollars and is back to the country and is being celebrated? And that is where the problem is. You don't expect somebody that makes that kind of amount of money. Because what we see as success here is what they don't see as success. When you buy cars and you can live well, and that, as far as they are concerned, that's a successful person. So, as a youth, if you do that at your age, then you become celebrated. So that is the problem, and it still boils down to the system. Nobody should be above the law. You shouldn't be above the law. For me, this is how I will prescribe that we should. The symbol of our nation should be exalted than any individual, which is our flag.
That's something I know that a country like the US or UK or Canada,
they do.
They don't.
I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
No matter what the world looks like out there, that flag will be taken, and it's always well respected.
Because a child has an impression. He sees the picture of the president, any offices enter. What he has is that this man must be very powerful. But he has only 4 years. But the flag of Nigeria transcends generation.
Pastor Peter Imo, I wish we could go on there. I know there's it will not be the last. We would keep abreast about all this. And surely you will come back together to come and discuss this.
Thank you so much.
We will definitely have love to go on and on and on with you on this very lovely day and to make sure that we get the very best out of for you. On this dial, Western Spring Television, channels 190 on Star Times DTT. And Spring Delight will be back again next week, Saturday.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
Ready? We will definitely be putting on. We might be in your environment one of these days.
You know.
Tundedo is my name.
My name is Ajibike and Jeremy Ojo. Have a delightful week. Okay.